Welcome to The Person Everyone Needs. I'm Webb Hoggard, and I'm sitting on a porch currently looking at the James River. The James River is a very large river that flows through the eastern part of Virginia. I'm currently sitting on the more rural blue-collar side, and on the other side of the river, which you can take a ferry to, is places like Yorktown, Williamsburg, and Jamestown, the very first of the colonies that the English settled that actually lasted. I do like to tell people, because I'm from North Carolina, Northeast North Carolina, I like to remind people that Jamestown, which is probably the most famous of the colonies, it is the first permanent English settlement. And the reason you need all those words in there, because it wasn't the first permanent settlement. That would be St. Augustine, settled by the Spanish. And it's not the first English settlement, because that would have been Roanoke Island off the coast of North Carolina. It's the first permanent English settlement because the one in Roanoke Island did not last. And so we have all those qualifiers. But the reason this is important, and maybe it's not important, but the reason I bring it up is this river is named after the King of England at that time, King James. In the early 1600s, King James was in a very special time in history, and because of that, his name continues to be remembered. Jamestown, the James River, and the most widely spread English book that has ever been put into publication, the King James Version Bible. King James was bothered by the disunity in his new religion. King Henry VIII had created the Church of England just a few decades before James took over. And there were so many different versions of the Bible out there, he could see that there was a lack of unity and there was an issue. And if there was anything, there was probably a part of him that kind of wished he could go back Catholic, because at least there was a singleness, a unity with it. So he commissioned, and I think that commissioned is a loose term that probably would not be 100% true. But either way, the Bible, the authorized version, was named in honor of King James, and my personal opinion, largely done so that the people that were translating the Bible would not be attacked by him. King James has his name on several things that are very important. We have a president right now that has his name on several things. It's an opportunity to have something that lasts, to be a person that's not easily forgotten when your name is on great things. On many things. But it's more important to have a great name. What's in a name? Not just what does the name mean in the past. That's often what parents want to focus on when they start naming their children. I know I did. I was very careful that we named our children things that I wanted to, ensure that they could live up to, and it would be an inspirational thing. My son, my first son, his name means God's light is with us. Yeah, what a reminder. If he's ever in darkness, let him be reminded that God's light is with him. My middle son, his name means praise. It means, God has given us something to praise. My third son, his name he's a warrior. Most likely a warrior in the same sense as Jonathan, the guy in the Old Testament that I love so dearly. But his name was also Graham, the great soldier for Christ over the 1900s. We do look at our names, and they do matter. My name, Webb, means weaver, and I'm constantly trying to weave together connections and build things in the same direction is what I kind of do. So I don't know about you. I know that names matter, especially what they're historical names. You look in the Bible and names matter a whole lot. But what's even more important than just what you've been handed is making a name worth having in your lifetime. So Trump can put his name on buildings, but is it a name that will live famously with pride for years to come? His name will not easily be forgotten, but will it be for positive reasons or for negative reasons? That's still to be seen, and I'm sure right now politically you fall on one side or the other of that, and we all have feelings about the way things are. But as we also know, we often find that someone who has hated their whole lifetime, we find that they are very much revered in perpetuity in the future. The same thing with King James. There are people who translated the Bible just before King James comes on the scene, and in that translation, some of them were killed, some of them, their families were chased down. They were treated like traitors, treasonous traitors, and they had to put their life on the risk it all in order to do these great feats. But now, though they were hated in their day, they are remembered now as great men who lived the life that put it all on the line, that we could be changed now. So I would say if you want to have a great name, find a cause and don't give up on it. A good name is one that is synonymous with courage, doing something that's hard, that other people can't imagine accomplishing. A good name is one of honesty, that people can trust that if you say it, it's going to be so. Honesty and courage accompany a good name. Kindness accompanies a good name. I recently looked at a scientific study that was done a few years ago, and it showed that when an act of kindness was done to someone, that there were pleasure centers in the mind that obviously would spark. But not only was it just their dopamine hit or whatever, their pleasure, whatever that was, also their immune system would kick off into a better direction. But it wasn't just the person who received the kindness, it was also the person who gave the kindness. The person who did the act of kindness received the same amount of spark in the pleasure center of their mind, but they also received that immune system spark. But the study also found one more thing, that anyone who just observed this act of kindness, they too received the same thing. Do we have any idea how when we are willing to do something kind for someone else, what hangs in the balance for everyone around us, not just their emotional or mental health, not only their physical well-being, but also perhaps socially around us, we are building up society when we show kindness to one another. You want to build a good name? You want to be the kind of person that everyone needs? Be a person who builds their name through courage, honesty, and kindness. Now, I'm not telling you that's what James did. In fact, I'm sure we can look up James's story, and there's plenty of things that we could be horrified by. We could go through, as I mentioned a while ago, Trump. There's plenty of chapters in Trump's life worthy of being horrified by. It's not about being perfect, but what are you building your name on? What is it that when people think of your name, a generation beyond you, will they think of a person full of courage? Will they think of a person full of kindness and full of honesty? I probably will never have a portion of water named after me. I'll probably never have a town named after me. I'll probably never have a Bible named after me. But whatever it is, even if it's just my son's, I want whatever is named after me to inspire people to be the best they can be. Because I know this to be the case. People who live that way, that's a person that everyone needs.